Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our physical. Why do I keep saying physical? I don't know why. We're going to do our technical analysis of uranium. I keep wanting to say physical. I think of physical metals, physical, whatever. I've got physical uranium in the background, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. And we're going to do technical analysis. I'm going to give you my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. And, here we go. This is what I'm seeing. So here's the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. We have broken to the upside. We are slowing down in momentum. We are coming up into a resistance area at this $15-ish mark. It seems like we're struggling to break through here. And what I'm seeing is we've got this large down movement of these 2 days. And then the buying pressure has been weaker coming back up. It might be in the cards of coming back down unless these buyers come in and show me show me the money. Show me the money, right? They need to show me that they have the buying pressure to push it on up. But it's looking like a little tired here. And the reason I say that is these 2 large candlestick down days, we made a lot of ground in 2 days. And then the buyers, they're trying to push it higher. But we're coming up to some resistance in here. If we were to see what this looks like on a 5-day, 5-minute candlestick, it still looks not too bad here. Looking at this, so we've got kind of a nice move up, sideways movement, nice move up, sideways movement, but we're contracting. The movements here are getting a little bit smaller. You see that? How they're contracting up, like the buyers are starting to equal the sellers. That's what this looks like to me, and we're coming up to a top. So we're going to have to figure out what we want to do. Are the buyers going to come in here and blow through this? Or are we going to hit our head and then kind of come back down a little bit? Now, if we come back down, I want to, here's a low, here's a low, here's a low. I want to see it make a low at like 13 bucks, 13.80, 13.60, something like that, where we're continuing to put in higher lows and our high just kind of paused there. But that's what I'm seeing for the Sprott Uranium Physical Trust. Now let's look at URNM. URNM, it's similar to the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. Got a little guy right now. We're up above this support resistance line. Resistance coming up through, support coming now back. If we were to look at and zoom in, you can tell that we're hitting kind of our head on this area here. Are we going to fall back down with where support's right underneath it? Here's a low, a higher low, and then maybe do we come like somewhere in there and then try to move higher? We'll see. Again, I'm not trying to make predictions. I'm trying to see where we could potentially buy some shares. I don't think, man, there's small little down days too. Still looks good. Doesn't look bad. It doesn't look good. It's still, I'm indifferent here, guys. I got to see what the buyers and sellers do tomorrow. Now, looking at some of these companies like Bannerman, I think, again, I like it in this general vicinity. I think it looks well. It's broken out of its pattern. It's resting. I think it could go higher. Same with Goviax. It looks very nice here. I like the general vicinity here, and the action looks fine. Global Atomic is pushed up against this resistance line. The only thing that I would say is I do see a little bit of weakness. What do I mean? We've got these big, large candlestick down days coming through, and the buyers were not as strong coming back up, and we're coming up to this resistance line. We could see this kind of come back to a spot where we've got our lows coming up, and maybe we do something in here. And that's what I'm seeing. And if you were to look at it from like a 5-day candlestick, you can kind of see that the high here, and now we're coming up to resistance, and that resistance, if we don't, it's not like we're really killing it at that. The momentum is not as strong coming up back at this resistance line. So we might roll over. We'll see. May the forces be with everyone. Let's go to the daily candlesticks. It's an up day. Momentum's coming down a little bit. Again, we're still at this resistance area. Why'd I draw that there? Every time we kind of hit this general vicinity, we get support and resistance right around the vicinity. And What I mean by vicinity, I'm talking about this entire area there, that whole area there. We're just kind of bouncing all around it. Looking at Purepoint, Purepoint's looking pretty good. Nice, good bullish engulfing, up a little bit today. Still inside of its channel. Deep yellow, another one that looks, looks fine. It looks good. Just kind of moving sideways. Can't wait for this stuff to break, guys. It'll be so fun. We're on top of the pattern for Paladin. It's sitting on top of the pattern here. Again, I like it there. I like buying on top of breakouts where things are resting. Sky Harbor's looking good. This one is resting on top of its pattern all in here. So it looks good. On the dailies, it's just struggling. We every time we get in this area up here, there's sellers. Hit our head, sold off. Hit our head, sold off. Hit our head, sold off. And attack it again. Hit our head, sold off. Hit our head, sold off. It's that area up there. It's like big seller up there. Canalaska, this guy's chilling here, guys. I mean, if you guys like Canalaska, I would be a buyer if you like it. In this general vicinity all through here. Looks good. Next Gen Energy, moving on up, getting a little bit of resistance. Still looks good though. Look at base load, throwing down a good number, 9.7%. I own a lot in this. This is my base load's my largest Explorer weighting by a long shot. I've just been sitting in it. I did buy some here at 50 cents in my HSA account, Go Health Savings account. But yeah, it looks good. Fission 3.0, a little bit more of a selling-ish day. This does kind of look like we might have one last little dip before I move higher. But we'll see what happens. And if it dips, I'm buying it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to be a buyer, guys. Fission's right up against it's right up against this resistance line. It's struggling to break through. Camco getting the bloody nose. That's a continuation pattern. Be our leader, Camco. Break higher. Break it. I dare you. Kazatomprom getting smacked in the nuts here. Down 7.77%. Looks like it wants to go lower with the bearish engulfing. That doesn't look inspiring to me. Peninsula Energy, small little down days, still looking like it's in control for the buyers. I still like it. Boss Energy, this guy needs to break through this resistance area. Just playing a game of ping pong between the two resistance lines. We've got Consolidated Uranium moving sideways. That's all it's been doing for the past, since October of 2021, been moving. Hit our head, hit our head, hit our head, hit our head. It's just hitting our head going back and forth. If it were me, if it could get back to this little area down here, I would be a buyer. That's for sure. Lotus Resources, again, we're up against resistance moving sideways. UROY, it's struggling at this little price here. Until we get the buyers to make a move higher, we're just sitting there hitting our head on this resistance line. Encore Energy, again, I like it here, guys. That's me. We're going to break to the upside at some point. You are at resistance. And we're right there at resistance, guys. If we can break, it'll run. If you break it, it will run. URG, looking good. Solid day. Doesn't look too bad. UEC, another one that's reaching for the sky here, trying to get through its resistance area. Maybe I drew that on. No, it wasn't on the log. I'm just trying to tie it through. LEU, finding a little bit of, I don't know what it's trying to find, actually. This is a big down movement here, guys. And then the pop up has been a lot weaker than the down move. I still think it might do a little bit of rolling over. LTBR, small little down day. Everything's intact. ISO, may the ISO be with you. Just a small little sideways day today. Appia, again, I like it down here, guys. I like it a lot. I bought some down here. I would continue to buy if I have the funds allocated to do so. Denison Mines looks good here in this general vicinity. $1.50 to $1.70, not a bad spot to be looking at it. Long-term view, that's our big resistance area that we have very strong support underneath this. So I would definitely be looking at this little area down here. Blue Sky Uranium, this guy's been reaching for the resistance line, hasn't gotten it yet. Forum Energy Metals, long-term view, we're right on the support line. Short-term view, everything looks fine. It looks like we're getting a slight slant of higher lows up. Sometimes what happens is you get this slant, and then all of a sudden it likes to just break when the resistance breaks or gives way. Anfield, we'll do the American one. Looks like it's just moving sideways. Laramide, another one that I like in this general vicinity. I like it down there. Lots of support underneath down there. We've got Western Uranium Vanadium. Hey, made a good up day today. Not too bad, making some headway. UEXCF, it looks good. It's long-term wise, it's above, support. There's a support on underneath here. It's above it. We're just sitting here, chilling on top of the world here. Mega Uranium's doing the same thing. It's breaking and hanging out, so I like it up there. Standard Uranium making a little bit of a move in the short term, a little bit of a 4% up day. ALXEF up, it gapped open up and came back down a little bit, but it was still up 5.5%. Asian Court, this thing looks really, it's got me. I bought in here, guys. I bought in at this tip. I bought in down here too. It's got me interested because when we break through this line coming down here, I think we could see a big move. And hopefully that's the case. Hopefully they release some information or something. Valor Metals looks good. Another one that's broken out of this little downtrend line to the upside. Still moving up. And then Elevate Uranium. Elevate also looks really good. It's got the downtrend line that's broken to the upside. It's hanging out right here. It looks really good. I think I would be, a buyer of it. But that's what I've got for uranium, guys. We'll see if the buyers have the oomph to push the Sprott Uranium Trust over the edge, over that resistance edge. And a lot of these charts, they all look like they're poised for a move higher. They're sitting on top of breakouts. So you break out first, they usually pause, move sideways, and then it's gone. But when do the buyers come in here and push it all higher? I don't know. Can't tell you that information, but I would be a buyer again in some of these companies. Elevate looks good, Valor Metals looks good, ALX looks, or Azure, Azincourt looks good, Bannerman, Encore Energy, Denison Mines. I mean, the whole thing looks really good, the whole sector. So they're sitting on top of support lines. The downside risk, we've got lots of support underneath us. Is there a whole bunch of upside potential? I think there is. So I think that the risk reward is still good. That's what I think. So under those circumstances, if I don't have money to buy, I just sit. If I had money to buy, I would probably selectively be picking some of these companies off. That's what I would be doing, and I have done so with some of my money. Give me a thumbs up for the content, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.